Okay, so what we began last time was the Orchos Tzadikim explaining to us that the true way to arrive at Simcha is through Emunah and Bitachon. So Emunah and Bitachon, we pointed out in the Chovos Lavavis, he didn't really get into the difference between Emunah and Bitachon. It was kind of grouped together. We saw last time in the Orchos Tzadikim, he breaks it up into two. And where I understand the difference between Emunah and Bitachon is that Emunah is the theory. In other words, Emunah is the recognition that Hashem has mercy on us, and Hashem is the Dayan HaEmes, which means he's the true judge, and he's looking to bestow good upon us, and whenever he can do good, whenever he can do good for us, he does good for us, and even if we perceive it as being bad, it's good. He knows what's for us, what's good for us more than we do. That is Emunah. Emunah means I believe that Hashem is in control of everything, and whatever he does to me is for my best. That's Emunah. Bitachon, the Orchos Tzadikim said, he quotes the pasuk in Tehillim, which so does the Chovos Lavavis, Hashlech al Hashem Yehavcha v'hu yichal kolecha. You kind of throw on Hashem like your life, and Hashem will sustain you. Now, that doesn't mean that I sit in the room and wait for the food to fall into my mouth. But that means that Bitachon is the practical application of the theory. So Emunah is the theory, Emunah is the belief. I believe Hashem controls the world. I believe that whatever Hashem does to me is for my best. I believe that. And then Bitachon, trust, is, so I live my life according to that. I'm Hashlech al Hashem Yehavcha v'hu yichal kolecha. I throw on Hashem. I say, okay, so everything's up to you. That's it. I'm gonna live life like that. When I go in for the interview for the job, when I'm going to look to buy a house, when a person's in shidduchim, whatever it might be. So I utilize that theory and I put it into practice. That's bitachon. So I have bitachon in Hashem when I deal with people. So the bitachon is the practical, is the application, and Emunah is the theory. That's how I understand from the Orchos Tzadikim. So he continues with Misha Ma'amin Be'elokim B'leiv Shalom, the person who believes and trusts in Hashem with a full heart, U'b'teach B'ei Bitachon Chazak, and he has a strong Bitachon. Yavi Oisa Bitachon. So now he's going to list around 5 benefits of Bitachon, and these benefits are going to be in this world. I mean, these are not benefits that help a person spiritually necessarily. I mean, the whole Bitachon, the whole endeavor of Bitachon helps a person spiritually, but these specific benefits of Bitachon, we'll see it just helps a person in this world. It helps them have a more tranquil and a more enjoyable Olam Hazeh. So, number 1, Shlo Yifchad Me Olam Midavara. So, a true Baal Bitachon is never afraid of anything bad happening. There's no fear. That's a very high level. I think we once shared in the Chovos Lavavis Shaar, we shared the Maisa with, it was the Alter Rebbe. It was one of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbes who said he was once called into the police station in Europe, wherever he was, and they pointed a gun at his head. And he said in a very calm voice, he was very calm, he said, "Your toys don't scare me. It's a toy. I mean, you shoot me, you don't shoot me." He valued life, the Alter Rebbe, he valued life. But he knew that everything's in Hashem's hands. You're pointing a gun at me. It's like pointing a feather at me. If Hashem wants, it'll happen. If not, not. That's a very high level. But that's exactly what the Orchos Tzadikim is talking about. A person who's a true Baal Bitachon and realizes that even the 1850 Polish soldier who's pointing a gun at the Jew, and the Jew realizes that soldier is nothing. He has absolutely no control, no power, nothing over me. That's a true Baal Bitachon. So the person's not afraid of anything bad happening to him. Number 2. And I don't try to get on anyone's good side in order that I should benefit, I should gain something. I don't need anyone. In other words, I'm not going to walk over to my employer and slap him in the face. That's counterproductive. But I don't work on someone so he'll like me. I don't need to do that. I don't put any of my trust in any person. I don't hope for a person to help me. A very important concept will say that this person never agrees to what anyone else says if it's against serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So, in as much as I believe that no one can exert any control over me except for Hashem. So if my employer is doing something wrong, or he wants to include me in something that's wrong, so I'm not going to listen to him. I'm not going to be afraid of losing my job. I can't do the wrong thing. Hashem controls him, Hashem controls me. So I'll never agree, the Baal Bitachon will never agree to anything that he feels is against the Torah. He's not afraid of their power. He's not afraid of getting into machlokes, into disagreement with them. And if he feels he has to rebuke them, and sometimes you have to rebuke people, again, it has to be done in a very smart way. Today, to a large extent, rebuke is no longer applicable because we don't know how to give it properly. But when one is giving rebuke, he's not going to be extra specially careful about their honor. He's not going to denigrate them and disrespect them, but he's not going to go out of his way to make sure they're not offended because, no, this person did the wrong thing. I feel that I have the tools to rebuke him and try to get him on the right path. And whatever happens, happens. Again, practically, one has to be very careful applying rebuke today, but theoretically speaking, that's how a person would approach it. Excuse me. And if they're going to embarrass him, he's not going to be embarrassed. He's not going to paint lies and make them look good. Like the Navi, the prophet said, Yeshaya, Hashem will help me, will protect me, will be an aid to me. Therefore, I've never been embarrassed. I put my face like a chalamish, like a stone. And I know I will not be embarrassed. I can't be disgraced. I can't be embarrassed. Not because I'm always right. Not because a person's an arrogant person. Because Hashem is on my side. And Hashem is the only one that controls anything. So one who has bitachon in Hashem, that will bring him to be able to channel or to focus his attention away from this worldly endeavors, in order to make himself to focus on Torah and the service of Hashem. So that's another benefit of bitachon, that he's not always nervous about how he's going to make money. And obviously, one must do ishtadlus if they put in the effort. But once you put in the effort, Hashem will take care of the rest. So that is the benefits of being a Baal Bitachon. So a person has to figure out what are those concepts that I must internalize, that we must internalize in order for us to become Balei Bitachon. And again, we find ourselves again in the sugya of Bitachon, and that's because the Orchos Tzadikim is saying that if a person wants to achieve Simcha in life, which is this contentment and this feeling of knowing that everything is great, it's only through bitachon. That's what he's saying. So there's 7 machshavas. There are 7 thoughts that a person has to contemplate in order to truly reach that level of being a Baal Bitachon, and in turn achieve Simcha Sakal. Machshava Rishona. The first thought is like this. So the way I broke them down is that of the 7, there are 2 of the 7. Yeah, there are 2 that are relevant to. There are 3 that are relevant to how Hashem interacts with the world, with people. There are 2 of them that have to do with how I view other people. So 3 is how I view Hashem. How Hashem interacts with me. That's 1, 2, and 5. We'll see. That's 1, 3, and 5. 2 and 4 is how I view other people affecting me. And 6 and 7 is how I view myself. Right? So of the 7 concepts of bitachon, we can break them down into 3 categories. How Hashem interacts with me, how I view others interacting with me, and how I view myself. So number one, this is how Hashem interacts with the world. Hamachshav Rishona, sheyeda v'yediyah brura, ki Elokim merachim ala adam yoysim mikol merachim. One has to have a clear understanding that Hashem has empathy, He has mercy on a person more than any other entity in the world. Hu mashgiach ala b'seis v'galut. And Hashem is supervising us. He's watching what we do. He's mashgiach on us. Both b'seis when we are by ourselves, and begali and openly, when we're in an open environment. Even if a person himself is not guarding his health, his spiritual health, his physical health properly, Hashem is watching him, and is protecting him from any harm. Like it says, Hashem protects the foolish ones. So, machshava rishayah, the first thought is, I have to know Hashem is there, Hashem is interested in me, Hashem loves me, and He's taking care of me. That's the first concept. That's how Hashem deals with me. Concept number two relates to how I should view other people. Machshava shniyah, all the good that I've received from my family, from my friends, from my colleagues, all that good, Hakol me'ez Hashem yizbarach hu. It's really all from Hashem. Ve'elu heim shluchei hamakom baruch hu. And these people are the messengers of Hashem. But really all the good that comes to any one of us is from Hashem. Now, of course, the person that does a chesed for me, I have to have hakara satoiv. I have to appreciate that he did good for me, and I have to try to pay that back in some way. So we're not saying that treat everyone the same, but I have to realize that ultimately, who planted the seed, who allowed this person to give that good to me, to be able to bestow that good upon me, it's really all from Hashem. Number three, this goes back to how Hashem relates to us. That anything that Hashem gives me is a chesed. Not that I deserve it. And Hashem bestows good upon us, not because Hashem needs to, because He needs it. It's in the davar v'chesed. It's a free will offering. It's a good, Hashem doesn't need anything. He's just doing it because He wants to be native to us. So this was also one of the 7 concepts of the Chavis Levav Shaar B'tachin, which was that we have to realize that Hashem will do good for me even though I don't deserve it. Because if I believe in everything, that Hashem is the only force and no one else does anything, and but He only gives me what I deserve, so I'm not going to be so confident because, hold on a second, I did this Aveira, I did that Aveira, well, maybe I'm not going to get what I need because I don't deserve it. So both the Chavis Levavis as well as the Orchos Tzadikim are both saying that a very important concept is that Hashem will do good for a person even if he does not deserve it. Number 4, it goes back to how others interact, how I view interactions with other people. Sheyeda asher kol haravis, sheyeda, one should know, asher l'chol inyan of yesh gvul v'keitz. That for all the things that happen, everything a person has, there's a boundary, there's an end. And nobody can add or take away. So Kodesh Baruch Hu has decided a person's family, has decided, controls a person's parnasa, whatever the person's physical health, whatever it is. I cannot add, no one can add or subtract what Hashem decreed. Masha Gazer Kodesh Baruch Hu, Shilei Ma'at, and if Hashem decreed this person should have a little, whether it's wealth, whether it's health, Ein Adam Yachal Laharbos, no one can add to that. Ilamayt Haribo, or take away what he has. Masha Gazer Acher, what Hashem decreed for someone else, Ein Shum Adam Yachal Lahaktim, no one can make that come earlier. No one can make it come later. Masha Gazer Lahaktim, what Hashem decreed to come earlier. So those things that Hashem decreed, no one can affect, they can't take away, they can't minimize, they can't add on, nothing can happen. So that's how I view other people. Hachamishis, this is back to how Hashem interacts with us. It's important to know that Hashem sees what's going on inside our hearts. If my bitachon, if our bitachon in Hashem is true, and it's not just a facade, it's not just something that's fake. If you're a servant to the king, to a human king, he can be dishonest and he can steal the heart, so to speak, of his master. The master can think my slave loves me with all his heart. Even though in reality, the slave hates the master. He's just very good at flattering, and he's very good at fooling the master. And the king is going to give him a lot of benefits because he thinks this guy really loves me. But he doesn't, he's tricking the king. This is not shaykh by Hashem, this is not possible. Hashem knows our thoughts that go on deep inside that no one else does. Hashem knows what's on top, what's below, what we believe in, what we don't believe in, and therefore we can't fool Hashem. That's a very important concept that we have to make sure that our bitachon is real. Because if it's not real, then we're only fooling ourselves. Let's try to chaperine 6 and 7. Maybe we'll just paraphrase 6 and 7. The sixth concept is that a person has to decide that he's going to keep Torah and mitzvahs. He's going to be Mekayim, he's going to fulfill Masha Tzivo, what Hashem commanded him, and hold back from that which Hashem said not to do. But a person who supposedly trusts in Hashem, but doesn't follow the Torah and mitzvahs, is a ksil, is a fool. He's a shaitan, he's a foolish man. Because Hashem knows that you're not really sincere. If a person was sincere and is bitachon to Hashem, so of course he can do Torah and mitzvahs. The Chayvus Levav said the same thing. That if I truly believe that it's all from Hashem, so then why do I find mitzvahs a burden? You know, how come I'm not keeping the mitzvahs? So I try my best. And when I say burden, I don't mean, I mean the approach to it. There are mitzvahs that are very hard, right? We're just giving in the middle of giving a series of shiurim on kibbut avayim. Kibbut avayim, honoring one's parents and fearing one's parents, is a hard mitzvah with a lot of details. And Shabbos could be a hard mitzvah. So we're not talking about when a person does an aveira, it's a lack of bitachon. But what I'm referring to is an approach that a person should not view mitzvahs as being a burden. If they do, then that might indicate a lack of bitachon. If I have full bitachon that HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world, whatever happens to me is from him, so then whatever he says to do, I'm going to do because I know I'm getting a great reward for it. So the sixth point the person has to internalize is that he has to makabel, accept upon himself to keep the Torah and mitzvahs. Otherwise, he's just fooling Hashem. Hashvi is the last concept that person should know. Hashem created man to do a lot of work, and he created that his parnasa, his mezonah, his sustenance comes with a tereach gadol va'avoda. It does not come easy. And if everything came easy without a tircha, we'd end up kicking Hashem. He quotes a pasuk in End Dvarim, in Haziru, Vayishman Yeshurun Vayivat, that Yeshurun, which is the Yidden referred to as the straight ones, Vayishman, they get fat, Vayivat, and they kick. So Hashem created a world we have to work for our parnasa, and that keeps us busy. If he didn't have that, we'd end up going off. Next paragraph, Hashem puts two things in front of us. So I have to work for a living. I have my spiritual endeavors. He has to find that medium, that middle ground where he's able to support himself, as well as he's able to invest also in Torah and mitzvahs. So the seventh, it's interesting, the seventh concept of bitachon is to realize the playing field, so to speak. The playing field is this balance between olam hazeh, my physical needs, as well as my spiritual needs. And that's part, one has to accept that that's the game, so to speak, that he's playing. But to quickly summarize, what are the seven concepts that a person has to ponder in order to keep himself stark with his bitachon? So number one, Hashem is merachim and mashgiach ani. Hashem always does good for me whenever he's doing good for me, always doing good for me. And number two, right? Whatever anyone does for me, all the good that my family and friends do, it's from Hashem. And what Hashem does for me, it's not because I deserve it. Even if I don't deserve it, Hashem will do it. And whatever Hashem decrees, no one can make it come earlier. No one can push it off. No one can take it away. It's all up to Hashem. That's number 4. And number 5, Hashem knows what's going on inside me, so I can't fool him. Therefore, number 6, I have to accept upon myself Torah and mitzvahs. Because if I don't, then I'm just fooling myself. I'm the only one that I'm fooling. And number 7, we have to accept that the playing field that we operate within is one of a balance between my physical needs and my spiritual needs. So we'll pick up Ezra Shem next week with the next paragraph. And he goes on a little more with this bitachon, which obviously is the central theme to Simcha. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.